Let's see. How are we looking at this? Do we want some extra light? I think we do. Okay. America. America, bitch. Let's get some light on the subject. Get you adjusted so you can see a little better. Maybe something like this will work. Yeah, I should adjust this a little better. I should have had it lined up already. Sorry about that, folks. Right about maybe here. And it'll do what we need it to do, won't it? And it'll give us a little extra light. Can you turn that up? All right, folks. Like the title says, shooting a breeze. As y'all know, I do a little more than just ride motorcycles and work on them. I'm also a Second Amendment enthusiast. I love me some pew pew. And Pittsburgh Gun Show was in town today, so we picked up a new pew pew collection of Ruger pistols, and we have a little Saturday night special Phoenix Arms HP HP 22A. Yeah, it is what it is. This is actually a good little gun, but the whole reasoning for today was me and Mrs. Phoenix Arms go to a indoor gun range minimum once a month. I like to go every 2 weeks. We both conceal carry. We have our permits to do so and all that. And if you're going to conceal carry a pistol, you should be pretty well practiced and able to use said pistol and make a clean shot if you need to. And on top of that, it's just fun to do. So we have 4 different pistols here that we've had at the range today, and I shot all 4 of them today, so I'm going to clean them one at a time. I know this is a big difference from the motorcycle stuff I do, but we're not working on bikes today. Decided to take the day off, spend a day with Mrs. Phoenix Motorsports, and we went to the local gun show and then the gun range. So the Phoenix HP 22A. This is like a cheap Saturday night special clinker. If you can, they quit making them, I think, 2 years ago. If you can still find them, they're usually $100, $120. We've got a Ruger LCP in 380. This is not the new LCP Max. This is just the standard issue LCP. This is what I just picked up today, and we'll get into why as we're cleaning them. We have Mrs. Phoenix Motorsports LC9. This is her everyday carry. Excuse me, LC380. This is her everyday carry pistol. And we have my everyday carry pistol, the Ruger EC9. And it's a Ruger EC9. It just has a Hogue slip-on grip. So we didn't put a lot through this, but we did break this gun in brand ass new. That's what I love about Ruger. Didn't clean it, didn't oil it, didn't nothing. I bought it and drove directly to I bought it 150 rounds of ammo and drove directly to an indoor gun range. Didn't clean it, oil it, nothing. We just bang 150 rounds of ammo. Had not one issue, and that's what I like about Ruger. They're inexpensive in the grand scheme of things, but at the same time, they are quality. That is why I like Ruger handguns. Not that, like, Taurus is another inexpensive brand, and it's not that they're not quality. Ruger is a little higher quality than a Taurus. It's kind of one of the reasons why I backed off the whole 2A part of my YouTube life. I got sick and tired. I did a budget-based channel, and I got sick and tired of hearing people run at the yap. I'm like, dude, I'm buying these cheap guns and testing them. I'm losing money on this. I'm doing it because it's fun. And everybody wants to run at the yap. That's a cheap gun. I wouldn't bet my life on it. Your mama, bitch. That's how I look at that. Your motherfucking mama. Anyways, get set up here. We use one brush for all, same for the 22. This 380 and 9mm takes the same. All right. That's set to the side here. When I do this, I have this old beat up baking pan that I like to use. And just simply, you don't lose stuff, it doesn't roll away on you. If you're familiar with the Ruger LC or the LC, the EC, whatever, they all need a takedown pin to take apart. The LC uses this. On the EC, you can use a paper clip, but I have this. It's like from a sewing kit. It works. We are going to focus on what I call the noisy cricket, the little baby Ruger first. Verify unloaded. Get the ammo, and what we're going to do as we're cleaning them, we're going to put the ammo in this drawer. I'm going to go ahead and move these onto a shelf next to me. That way, while I'm cleaning a gun, there's no live ammo out and about around me. Just safety and all. Okay, I'll verify that she's empty. Actually, it's easier to take this down. I don't know. You guys, if you're watching this, you probably know how to do this. How much does it? Call the police, please. No. How much does it cost? These, dude, you can pick them up anywhere from $200 to $250. They're not expensive. They are a rather uncomfortable little pistol to shoot. Wrap the slide back just a little bit. Get under this pin and kind of pull it out. Sometimes you can get with your fingernails. Take the pin out. Slide comes forward. Pop your guide rod and recoil spring out. Push up. And back. Barrel comes out. As you can see, it's not filthy, but it's had rounds put through it. And like I said, I really cannot complain. I literally bought it, didn't clean it, didn't do anything. I bought it, took it directly to the gun range, and went shooting. This is good shit. Old man Hickok 45 had turned me on to this a while ago, and I bought this in 2012. I've been using it exclusively to clean my guns since, and I still have got like half a bottle left. You don't need much. That is more than enough. And what you can do with this, it's water soluble. Mix it with water like such, it turns into a pretty good solvent and actually does the do pretty well. So soak them down like that, let it sit for a second. Get you an old toothbrush. Let's keep a rag on hand. One thing about the Ballistol, I will say, it freaking stinks. Like, I'm up here in my office because if I did this in the living room, Mrs. Phoenix Motorsports would skin me alive. This stuff smells terrible. It's bad. But it works very well. I put just a little bit of raw, not mixed with water on the brush. Let's get in there and clean the rails. In here and clean the face real quick. And we'll scrub up the outside of the barrel. Well, we already sprayed some down there. Clean the rail on this side. And then on this side, the mag well doesn't really have any crud in it yet. Either does the recoil spring, but we'll get some on there. And the good thing about this, like the water will dry up, but the oil mixed in it. The ballast all mixed in with the water will stay with it, which is cool. Let's get the outside of this wiped off so we can work with it, work with it a little better. Oh, shoot. I will return. I need to grab some Q-tips. I have completely forgotten that I need Q-tips. Bear with me, folks. Shoot. Never mind on that. The Q-tips are in the downstairs bathroom and I'm going to fish them out. We will just use some torn up pieces of paper towel to handle that end of it. All right. Get a little bit of this juice on the brush. Okay. I'll brush the face of this with the feed ramp. Like I said, this gun's not filthy, but these little pocket rocket pistols like this, seriously, if you can handle putting more than 100 rounds through it, you're doing something. They're not fun to shoot. They're little, they buck hard. There's not much of a grip. Well, it'll make freaking hamburger meat out of your hand. Which didn't get me too bad, but got me. And then what we're going to do, since I am too lazy and don't want to put you guys on hold long enough to run downstairs and grab cotton swabs. Nope, I don't have any left in my kit, I don't think. Oh, I have one left. We're going to use that for oil. And then what we'll do here, let's hold this up. I guess you can call it shooting sports, whatever, man. Like those of you, this is where the whole live section where you kind of get to know me a little bit, I guess. I'm usually trying to teach you guys how to work on a motorcycle. This one will teach you about me a little. My father is paralyzed from the chest down and has been since I was 2 years old. So there wasn't a lot of father-son stuff we could do together when I was a kid. Well, one of the things we did together was shoot guns. He has limited use of his hands and his arms, but he can shoot a rifle. We went fishing, and he would sit there at the trails while I rode my dirt bikes and stuff. So I have literally been fooling with pistols and rifles and such, shotguns, since I was like 10. It's been a part of my life, and if you're an OG to this YouTube channel, you'll know that this YouTube channel started out as a gun reviewing channel. But as I said, there is a million and one other guys out there who can and do it better than me. And unless you're sponsored by them, which YouTube really doesn't think very highly of right now, you're paying out of pocket. And you buy a gun new and then trade it in on something else, you're losing money. And I lost a lot of money over the years by doing that. So Plus, like I said, I got tired of the back and forth. My gun's got a bigger dick than your gun. You guys are retarded with that. Sorry, I'm being in politically correct, but they are. They're stupid. You have a cheap gun, blah blah blah. And I'm just like, dude, I don't want to hear it. Grow up. You know what I'm saying, folks? I just do not want to hear it. So we do the motorcycle thing now because that's just what we do. I'm gonna make a little swab, and you can take these and put on and run that through your board. But you can also do it this way. Just ball them up like such. Run it through. Gets all that crud out. Ball it up, run through the other direction. There we go. She's good as new. Wipe this guy down. So I mentioned why I actually wanted this little guy. Well, I am a function over form guy. You know, there are fancy pistols, and there are pistols to do the job. A lot of folks like Glock pistols. I do. They work really good. But each pistol has its particular function and what you're going to do with each individual piece. Well, this particular little guy I like because if I'm going to, say, take my dog for a walk and I'm wearing sweatpants, okay, and want something extremely lightweight, I live in a nice neighborhood. That being said, that doesn't mean that I wish to walk around without some personal protection. Now, this ballistol works well as an oil, too. You don't need much, a little bit on the cotton swab. And like you said, I'm going to walk my dog with some sweatpants. Well, the 9mm version, it's not that much bigger, but it's heavy, okay? You need a pair of pants with a belt and a holster for that. And being as it is your striker fired style, really don't want to just throw that in your pocket and carry it. You can, I guess, you know. But me personally, even with a safety, I'm going to want a holster on it. And it's just not, it don't make it for like pocket carry when you're wearing sweatpants. It don't. It's just not the right pistol for that. Whereas this little itty bitty punishing to shoot 380 just does a better job for a situation like that. Like I said, walking a dog through a nice neighborhood, you know, you want a little protection, and this little guy, it's just enough. 6 in the bag, 1 in the pipe for 7 shots. Hold on a second, focus in here. It's not meant to be accurate. They are considered what you would call a belly gun. You know, a few feet away distance, point the belly, pop the trigger, neutralize the threat. You're not going to be shooting the wings off a gnat at 100 yards with a pistol like this. It's not made for it. Sometimes that little pin can be tricky to get in there. And if I didn't have an audience, it wouldn't be a problem with it. Oh, it never is. There we go. Cleaned and oiled. Ready to rock and roll, and let's move on with the next. really hard to rack. There's nothing to hang on to with this little guy. And yes, it's just ball ammunition. Because out of a little pocket pistol like this, little 1-inch bore, and being 380, I'm really not concerned with hollow points. Just not. Okay, on to the next one. This would be the Ruger LC9, Mrs. Phoenix Motorsports Daily Care. Keep it loaded up with some Hornady Critical Defense. Well, slightly different takedown process. You can see you've got a little switch here. Push down on it. You see you got that pin, and there's that little half moon. Easiest way to do it. Now, you know, load the chambers down so there's nothing in the chamber. But I hold it with my finger like this, and you can use your thumb and you line up that little, so you line up that little circle. And you take the tool that Ruger gives you, and you just pop that little, oh, wait, that has come out from this side, I forgot. It lined up. And you take your little tool and you just pop that pin out like such. And the slide comes off. She didn't shoot too much today. I believe she only put like 50 rounds through it, but being as it is an everyday carry pistol, if you shoot it and you get it dirty, you want to clean it and just swipe a little oil in it so that you know it is going to function when you take it back out, or if you need it. Remember, we dipped this in that goop there, so even though we sprayed it with the watered down version, we have a little bit of the straight version on here. Actually, we're gonna put a little bit in this cup here. A little bit more. God, this stuff smells terrible. It's like, I mean, it smells like oil, but if you mixed it with like vomit and garbage and put it in a garbage can and put it outside on a 90-degree day, if you can imagine that smell, that's about what this cleaning stuff stinks like. It's bad. Like, hate it. Back in the day, and this smell still brings back memories to me, is good old-fashioned Hops No. 9 solvent. When I was a kid, that's what my dad used. That's what he taught me to use. And usually Saturdays or Sundays. Back then, you really had to go to the range. We just went out in the country, a couple of different fields. He knew the people owned them. We'd set up targets and shoot. He always taught me that you never put away a gun dirty. You clean it. I don't care if you only shot it a few times. You shot it. You break it down and you clean it. And that is something that is stuck with me to this day. I don't care if I shot it once. I don't care if I put 500 rounds through it in a massive range session testing something. After I've shot it, that same day, I'm going to take it home and I'm going to clean it. That's just what I was taught to do, man. Right or wrong, that's how I was taught. Okay. Just got it wiped off so I can handle them a little better. You guys really like the bike stuff better, huh? If I was working on motorcycles, there'd be a lot more y'all tuned in and chattering away in the chat. That's okay, though. My life is about motorcycles, man, but that's not all it's about. I do other stuff, too, you know. Garbage and get a fresh one. Like I said, they have the little, and I have them in here, the little plastic get up that you put the swab through. That's honestly really not necessary. If you ball it up like such and just run it through, and then you can take it and ball it up in the other direction so that you now have another clean side. That generally gets it done just fine. That's probably all this little guy will need. Yep. All right, set that to the side. We brushed this pretty good. Let's take the cloth and kind of get the heavy off of it. This way. We need another little chunk of paper towel. And then we'll use this little pick here to work the paper towel down in, clean these channels out. Coincidentally, if you don't shoot your pistol, let's say you're not a person that does what we do and goes to the pew pew range on a regular basis. Let's say you only shoot once a year. If you carry said pistol, you still need to maybe once a month or so, you need to break it down like this and have a look-see. Because dust, lint, etc. Get down in there. How the rails look. Yeah, this gun didn't really get shot enough to really even get dirty. But dust, lint, all that shit build up in there just from sitting. Sometimes it can build up enough to jam. So if you're going to rely on one of these guys for some self-defense, it is in your best interest to take them down once a month and clean them real quick. Maybe you don't have to go all out, but you should at least pull the slide off. Get in there with a cotton swab and wipe that out. Touch of oil. You don't need much. Just a touch. Wet up a cotton swab with some oil. Stick it in there. Swab her down. And see how you get that lined up. Get your little pin. Sometimes you gotta work it a little to get it in there. It could be a double sometimes, I will admit. There you go. Take your little Ruger tool. Drive her home. Flip the switch up. Now, this has a mag out safety. You cannot pull the trigger with no mag in here. So what you need, this comes with your Ruger pistol. Ensuring that it's going to function. Seven rounds plus one makes for 8 rounds of Hornady critical defense. Back in the holster she goes. All right, on to the next one. Now, my daily carry, the EC9. This is basically an LC9. Well, actually, LC9S. It's got your standard striker fire trigger, very light trigger, like 4 pounds. It broke in and got lighter. The only difference between this and the LC9S is this doesn't come with fancy sights. This just has fixed sights. This is more your down and dirty self-defense handgun, no frills, you know. And I've seen these on sale at places for like $229. They're usually between $250 and $325. And like I said, you get a high quality item with this. Where did I put my little bag? And for it, depending on how I'm dressed, I also have an extended magazine. So 9 rounds in the mag, 1 in the pipe. You know, got a 10 shot, 9mm. I mean, without this little Hogue grip, I'm not gonna lie, this gun is punishing to shoot without this Hogue grip, but with it, beautiful. Okay. Little notch in the chamber. If you look in there and you see brass, you got one in the pipe. If you don't, you don't. Same thing, mags out, trigger will not pull. You need this. Put this in, pull the trigger. You gotta pull the trigger to disassemble this. The same kind of setup. You have a little switch that you pull down like that. Okay, up, down. The pin only comes out from this direction, and we're verified that it's empty. So I put my thumb here, and you kind of, same deal, you just kind of line it up like that. But on this side, there's like a little piece of wire that holds that pin in. Your little Ruger tool won't get past that wire. It's too fat. This is for the LC9. There's this, they recommend using a paper clip. I use this, I think it's a seam ripper for a sewing kit. But it works pretty well to do this. This pistol has a much stiffer recoil spring on it. It can sometimes be a bear to do this. You line up the circle with the circle. Get in there from this side. Push that little pin through. And I'm telling you, it sometimes is a bitch to do. Lined up like that. I did have like a little nail in my right there. Calm yourself, dude. Was that little nail in there? No, I had this all in the garage because I cleaned my buddy's pistol for him the other day. And it was just about the right size to kind of get in there and get that. Oh, yeah, I get it started. I may have to put this on hold and clean this one later because I need a nail or something. I did get it with the Ruger tool once. I fight with it every time. And it really doesn't need to be a fight. Got to move that. Oh, I forgot to put this switch down. Let's try it now. There we go. And you can see that slides back like such. I'm gonna try to do this over the tray here. And then you can just grab that with your fingers and kind of just pull it out. Will admit that is one advantage to guns like the Glock and whatnot. They're a little easier to break down. There we go. Same thing, little pin comes out. Slide off. Now, this being a newer model has a slightly different recoil spring, and I like this design a little better. It's captive, so you don't get parts and shit everywhere. And this is all steel. Cool. I like this design much better than the older. Comes apart the same way. You can see down in there it's not too spongy. We didn't put a lot of rounds through this. I mainly wanted to break in the little noisy Cricket. The little baby 3.8. I mainly wanted to shoot that today, but since I was there and I had this on me, bought a couple of boxes of 9mm. And run them through. This gun is just barely broke in, to be honest with you, folks. I've only put maybe, I don't know, I'm going to say more than 500 and less than 1,000 rounds through it. That's when we go. I bring a few pistols, and if you're here from back in the day, you know that I always had a saying was, no matter what pistol you shoot at your day at the range, you should always finish up your range day by putting some rounds through whatever pistol you carry every day. Well, I carry this every day, so we broke in the new little guy and shot the crap out of it. And I will primarily be carrying this more than anything else. So we just went ahead and shot this one. You look down in the frame, it's not very dirty. I have a brush with some Ballistol on it. We'll just get in there and get a little Ballistol on it. Clean the outside here because it does get some powder on it. Okay. An old t-shirt, pieces of an old t-shirt works well for this. This kind of towel, not so much, because the little fuzzies will come off. And just like cleaning the carbs up on a motorcycle. Or, you know, cleaning an engine, the inside of an engine that you just disassembled. You don't want those little fuzzies down in. But for a general like this, to wipe it all down, wipe up your excess here, so you can handle it a little easier. A rag like that works just fine. Right. Paper towel mash down in. Yeah, that is kind of the only drawback to this, is it can be a little awkward to take down. I will admit that. Where it's like your other striker fires, like a Glock, your Taurus works the same exact way. You just kind of pull back on the slide, and this little thing you pinch and grab, and it basically falls apart. Whereas this, you have this little pin to deal with. And once you get figured out the hand motion to get up in there and get it, it's really not difficult. But I haven't done it in a month. So whether I shot this gun or not, around the 29th to the 31st is gun cleaning day either way. Let's get in these rails here too while we're at it. Okay. Did we brush this? We gotta do it again. I don't think we ran a brush through it. And get a clean patch. Like I said, you can do this any way you want. This is how I do it. Take the dirty part, put it on the inside, and your patches last you longer that way. This is probably all this needs. Yep. Good enough for who it's for, in the words of Derek Beery. Get down in this little notch. There's a little bit of ballast all in it yet. Get it in here a little better. Getting a little bit of this clean side here. A little bit of oil. I need a couple of drops down in the rails like that. And then cleaning guns for me is pretty therapeutic. Brings back childhood memories and such for me. Drop oil on this. A little bit on there like that, and just get a drop. Good enough for who it is for. In this hole, like such. Put that in place. Okay. Now this pin, what's funny is you watch me struggle taking it out. It is, I'm not gonna lie, this gun's a little bit of a bugger to get apart. But watch how easy it goes back in. Like that. Okay, you put your blank mag in her. Give her a wipe down. Beautiful. Okay. And we're going to run it just like that. We've got Winchester plus P 147 points. Get it in the camera so you can see it. Big old nasty fucker. And that's what I carry in that. Let's put him back in his holster. Safety on, back in the holster, on the shelf, out of the way. Okay. Let's see, we're going to put this back where it belongs. And the Ruger tool will no longer be needed. We'll put it away. This little pin, keep that with that. Now, the Saturday night special. Now, I ain't got money for a gun. That's what that is. I don't have money for a gun. That's what it is, dude. It is a, oh shit, cheap old gun. That is for sure. Let's see. Can't read the numbers on these, so I gotta buy this cheat sheet. I thought that was 17. Okay, we don't want 17, we want a 22. So it should be like 9 or 10. Yep, number 10. That's the third one down. It's in the wrong spot. It's gotta be this guy here. Yep, that's your 22. These are a little bit of a bitch to take down too. CCI Stingers. You really shouldn't use Stingers in this little pile of shit. It's not designed for higher pressure loads, but we use higher pressure loads when it's just chilling, because if we have to use this, we don't care, right? And generally, you want to use standard pressure loads. So when I'm at the range, I use standard velocity 22 long rifle ammo. I hate taking this thing apart. God help me. It's verified, y'all. She is empty. It is a little easier to disassemble this if you rack it like that and leave the hammer back. You pull forward like that. Tip. Let's see right here. It's kind of gouged out for your fingers. Pull back a tiny bit on the side, pull forward on that, and pick up the barrel at the same time. The barrel will come right out. Keep your fingers near here, because there's the recoil spring. It will shoot across the room, and it is a bitch when that happens. You don't want that to happen. She's not particularly dirty. And we're going to leave the recoil spring on there. Now, look at this slide in here. I mean, this is a cheaply made hot metal gun. As you can see, she's got wear. Some of you may not believe me when I tell you this, but I have put every bit of 5,000 rounds down range with this little piece of crap, like, for real. And this little piece of crap has never failed me. Like, dude. If you know anything about the Ring of Fire series with guns, yes, it's a thing. They're all made in Ontario, California. The original company was Jennings. And because of the 1968 Small Firearms Act, there were a lot of high quality pocket pistols coming in from Europe, and they were coming in super cheap. Okay. And folks were doing what they shouldn't be doing with them. You know, bad stuff, right? Well, our lovely government decided we're going to put a stop to that. So no small caliber pistols unless they're manufactured in America. Well, at that point, you had the Browning Vest Pocket 25 autos, and they weren't really making them. And in general, the companies who did make pocket pistols back in those days, pre 1968, they really weren't cheap. But there's a lot of Spanish companies like Astra produced them just super cheap, dude. Super cheap. And because they were super cheap, they, you know, before we had to go to a gun shop, we just guns, everybody just had them. Now they're getting more regulated. But because they were super cheap, they ended up in the wrong hands. They were easy to conceal. People used them to commit crimes. And I correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody will probably jump in here and tell me the 25 automatic. Well, I believe it's a 25 auto has taken like more lives than any other caliber. Crazy, man. Just because it was, the, you know, crime and violence was that bad, and these little pocket guns. So the government did what the government did, and they made this law. Well, a man by the last name of Jennings stepped in and said, all right, right on. I'll make you a cheap gun, pocket sized, small caliber, and I'll make it right here in California. And he did. Such was born the Jennings J22 and the, I think like the P25 or something. And they were garbage. They were made out of a metal called Zamac. It's a mixture of like zinc and aluminum and shit. Junk pot metal. But for little to no money, you could have a little functioning pistol. They call it the Ring of Fire pistol because it was the cities, if you look at the map of California, where they were produced, it's kind of like the cities all around in a ring, sort of, right? And sometime in the 90s, the man's initial factory, Raven Arms, my stepdad had a Raven Model 25. Cool looking little pistol. His factory burned down. His grandson bought it, what was left, and retooled it and turned it into, of all things, Phoenix Arms. Get it? Rise from the ashes. Phoenix. And produced basically one model pistol. This little guy. Came in either a 22 caliber or a 25 auto. I'm not sure if I have it up here. I do. You can purchase a 4-inch barrel for this little guy, and I have one. That's pretty cool. I'm glad I got it when I did. You can't get them anymore, and it gets put back together the same way. You put this long barrel on it. It looks kind of goofy. With actually, you know what? Maybe we will. What's it look like down the barrel? Needs a shot of oil to it. Maybe we'll put it back together with the long barrel just to show you guys. Yeah, because we will. Before we do that, we're going to just run a brush through here real quick. If we can. Let's put a little spritz down it. it on. A little spritz won't hurt it. As you can see, this barrel, I've like never shot this gun with this barrel on it. I didn't. I bought it and it just, it's just not a gun I shoot often, so it just kind of like sat in the corner with this barrel on it. And I put the small barrel on it to just to do it once. And we decided, you know what, we're going to the gun range. I'm going to take this little tiny 22 that I haven't shot in years. That I used to, every time I went shooting, I would shoot this little guy. Just to see when it was going to give up the ghost, when it was going to finally fall apart or break. And I will say this, I've only ever used... Ooh, there was some rust in that barrel. Good thing we did that. You know, we're not going to put that back on. Go with the barrel for it. Anyways, as I was saying, I only use standard pressure. I have put some CCI stingers through it. And I've just never had a problem. I've had a couple of dud rounds, which if you shoot a lot of 22, you know what's going on, especially if you buy bulk 22 ammo. You're going to have some duds. That just happens with 22, with any rimfire. 22 Magnum seems like it doesn't happen as much, but 22 long rifle, you buy bulk ammo, you're going to have a few duds. Every time. You just will. Trust me. I've probably shot over 1 million of the damn things in my lifetime. You're going to have it. And that's the only issues I've ever had with this. I've had some dud ammunition. You see where the wear marks are? That's where you want the oil. Now, unlike those Ruger pistols, the quality pistols, you just need a tiny little bit of oil. This little Saturday Night Special piece of shite, you better have her wet with oil. That is the most important thing because it is a blowback action. For it to function properly, it needs to be cleaned and well oiled. You need to see how it's starting to wear down here from hitting over the hammer so many years. Okay. Okay. This sucks a little bit. It kind of sucks to put this one back together. I'll just get like back over here and then in. Okay. Get the recoil spring captured in the front. It's real easy to send that recoil spring flying. And then this little piece here hooks in down here to a little rod, so you can you just kind of gotta feel it. There you go. Push that backwards. You don't want to dry fire your 22 caliber. Okay. Like outside of this. Just pull back a little and check and make sure it picked up the round. Yeah, it did. You see it in there. See the shininess. All right. Hammer's down. Now, if you want to fire this, you're going to have to cock your hammer. Okay. This little bugger has two safeties. You got one here. This is a hammer block safety. It does work. I don't mess with it. I leave it up. Safety up here. Okay. In order for them to make these legal, because the whole NFA bullshit, and it's hammer fired and it looks like an automatic, like a regular automatic, not a blowback Saturday night special. To make them legal, they had to put that extra safety, I guess. I don't know. I think it's stupid, but there it is. This has been, I mean, honestly, I love this little thing. Every time I go shooting, I bring it with me and I pop some rounds through it. I'm waiting for it to fail. It hasn't yet. All right, so that's your Saturday Night Live video. Sorry, I know you guys are into the bike thing, and we did something different today. Well, guys, I love working on motorcycles. 2 wheels and an engine is life. This is true. But I live in Pennsylvania, man, and in the winter, I ain't always working on bikes. And being as we had a little bit of Christmas shopping to do today, and the gun show was open. Not that it's open. It's supposed to be here every, I want to say it's like every 3 months. Okay. And I filmed riding up to the last one. I did a moto vlog. And obviously they're a little funny. You cannot film. Don't be pulling your cell phone out and filming. Security will escort you out of the building. They don't care. You will not be allowed back in. They don't take kindly to filming. They don't want the inside of the gun show filmed, just simply because not everybody likes guns, right? You know what I'm saying? And there are some people out there who would just be a total ignoramus and film someone and mess with them because you're an evil gun person. You know, mind your business. Live and let live. So they don't allow filming. And I couldn't film the inside of it. And I love you guys, my viewers, but you don't need to know every single gun that I own. I don't put it all out there like that. Nor do I want to. The government already knows what you own. I don't care what you think. Your phone's listening to you. All that tinfoil hat stuff. But I feel that I don't think it's necessary for me to post all over the internet every firearm that I purchase, etc. But my everyday carry, which I've had in a video, Mrs.'s everyday carry, which we think we're gonna bump her up to a 9mm. She's shooting mine and doing good with it, and I think we're gonna go with maybe a Smith & Wesson's Shield for her. I think that's what we're gonna trade her up to. And we got Noisy Cricket number 2, Noisy Cricket number 1. Y'all don't know it, but half the videos I make up here, this guy's stashed right here in the desk. Half the time when I'm in the garage, that guy is in the garage. It always goes bang, and so will this. The Ruger LCP, they do have the LCP Max, holds a little more ammo, and it has a trigger similar to this, where you have a safety in the trigger, and it's a much, much lighter trigger pull. I personally don't like that. I personally want a stiff revolver style trigger that this has, for the reason being is I carry this in my pocket. I just shove it in my pocket, especially if I'm wearing like sweatpants or something, because this is very light. I want a stiff trigger. If you got to use this little guy, you're using him up and dirty, belly distance as they call it. You don't need a performance trigger. You need to shoot at 15 feet because someone is attempting to take your life. That's what this little gun is for. And I personally like the stiffer trigger that it has. So that's what's up. That's a tale of 3 Rugers. And I am going to go chill out and watch some TV with Mrs. Phoenix Motorsports for the rest of the night. We will try to go live tomorrow afternoon. Depending on how things work out. The actual, I think he's watching now, the actual owner of that Suzuki I've been working on, probably going to stop by and work on it with me and learn him some stuff. And we might show that live. So thanks for watching. Do me a favor, treat that like and subscribe button like it owes you money and smash it. I was still got the stamp from the gun. So I will catch y'all later, man.